Shravanam Diaries podcast.
Hare Krishna everyone, we are continuing to read the Bhagavad Gita as it is, the book by His Divine Grace. Abhay Charanaravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Jai. Chapter 9, The Most Confidential Knowledge. Text 26. Patram bhushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tadaham bhakti upahritam ashnami prayatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit, or water, I will accept it. Purport. For the intelligent person, it is essential to be in Krishna consciousness, engaged in transcendental loving service of the Lord, in order to achieve a permanent, blissful abode for eternal happiness. The process of achieving such a marvelous result is very easy and can be attempted even by the poorest of the poor without any kind of qualification. The only qualification required in this connection is to be a pure devotee of the Lord. It doesn't matter what one is or where one is situated. The process is so easy that even a leaf or a little flower, a little water, or fruit can be offered to the Supreme Lord in genuine love, and the Lord will be pleased to accept it. No one, therefore, can be barred from Krishna consciousness because it is so easy and universal. Who is such a fool that he does not want to be Krishna conscious by this simple method and thus attain the highest perfectional life of eternity, bliss, and knowledge? Krishna wants only loving service and nothing more. Krishna accepts even a little flower from his pure devotee. He does not want any kind of offering from a non-devotee. He is not in need of anything from anyone because he is self-sufficient, and yet he accepts the offering of his devotee in an exchange of love and affection. To develop Krishna consciousness is the highest perfection of life. Bhakti is mentioned twice in this verse. Twice. In order to declare more emphatically that bhakti or devotional service is the only means to approach Krishna. No other condition, such as becoming a brahmana, a learned scholar, a very rich man, or a great philosopher, can induce Krishna to accept some offering. Without the basic principle of bhakti, nothing can induce the Lord to agree to accept anything from anyone. Bhakti is never casual. The process is eternal. It is direct action in service to the Absolute Whole. Here, Lord Krishna, having established that He is the only enjoyer, the primeval Lord, and the real object of all sacrificial offerings, reveals what type of sacrifices He desires to be offered. If one wishes to engage in devotional service to the Supreme in order to be purified and reach the goal of life, the eternal, transcendental, loving service of God, then one should find out what the Lord desires of him. One who loves Krishna will give him whatever he wants, and he avoids offering anything which is undesirable or unasked. Thus, meat, fish, and eggs should not be offered to Krishna. If he desired such things as offerings, he would have said so. Instead, he clearly requests a leaf, fruit, flowers, and water be given to him. And he says, "Of this offering, I will accept it." Therefore, we should understand that he will not accept meat, fish, and eggs. Vegetables, grains, fruits, milk, and water are the proper foods for human beings and are prescribed by Lord Krishna himself. Whatever else we eat cannot be offered to him, since he will not accept it. Thus, we cannot be acting on the level of loving devotion if we offer such foods. I remember Sunil Krishna Prabhu, one time I think we bought some guava, and Sunil Krishna Prabhu started playing that, devil's advocate, and he was saying, "Why are you killing baby guavas?" This and that. He's like, maybe a baby guava is just like I am the fruit of my mother. I looked at him and I was like, "Are you also eating through photosynthesis?" That was the end of the argument. Yeah. I don't know if in English it's also called photosynthesis. Yeah. Another point that came to my mind is that in Matchless Gift, Krishna Consciousness, the Matchless Gift, small paperback, small book of Srila Prabhupada, it's the first book we've read on this podcast. There's a moment where Srila Prabhupada says that Krishna is trying to say to us, "Try to love me, learn how to love me, offer something to me." And then we may say, "But my Lord, I have nothing to give you." And then Krishna would say, it's all in the book, Krishna says, "But can't you give me a little bit of water, fruit, or a leaf?" And then devotee supposedly replies, "Yes, anyone can do that." So, anyone can do that. And of course, the sweetest thing is that Krishna is saying, "Try to love me, learn how to love me, offer something to me, to love me." That's just sweet. Alright, so in the 3rd chapter, verse 13, Shri Krishna explains that only the remains of sacrifice are purified and fit for consumption by those who are seeking advancement in life and release from the clutches of material entanglement. Those who do not make an offering of their food, he says in the same verse, are eating only sin. In other words, their every mouthful is simply deepening their involvement in the complexities of material nature. Complexities of material nature, yeah, we've seen those. But preparing nice, simple vegetable dishes, offering them before the picture or deity of Lord Krishna, and bowing down and praying for him to accept such a humble offering, enable one to advance steadily in life, to purify the body, and to create fine brain tissues which will lead to clear thinking. Actually, so many different things are developing fine brain tissues in our spiritual practice. Here it says if we will eat Krishna Prasadam, we will develop fine brain tissues. Also, we cook on ghee or we drink milk every day. That's also developing fine brain tissues. Chanting japa, chanting Mahamantra, that develops fine brain tissues. And I remember Bhakti Vigyana Goswami Maharaj, he gave a whole seminar. Like, I don't know how many days was it. I've listened to only 5 days, I think. 5 or 7. And he would explain this different, very complex chemical process that's happening in our brain when we're chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And then, like, one class was just purely technical from that perspective. And he was like, dear devotees, please bear with me. Forget everything I will tell you. Yeah, but basically, yeah, everything is directed to give us fine and finer brain tissues to be able to use our intelligence, first of all, to develop intelligence, to differentiate between what is spirit, what is matter, and secondly, to develop fine brain tissues to be able to serve the Lord. Right? Okay. So fine brain tissues to clear thinking. So if we want clarity in life, if we want to think clearly, and actually in Krishna consciousness, many times we have to think clearly and make very important decisions on the spot. And the more you're qualified, the more Krishna gives you such situations where you have to make a decision immediately. Wow. Tick, tick, tick. Confirmation. Okay, so above all, the offering should be made with an attitude of love. Krishna has no need of food, since he already possesses everything that be. Yet, he will accept the offering of one who desires to please him in that way. The important element in preparation, in serving, and in offering is to act with love for Krishna. The impersonalist philosophers who wish to maintain that the absolute truth is without senses cannot comprehend this verse of Bhagavad Gita. To them, it is either a metaphor or proof of the mundane character of Krishna, the speaker of the Bhagavad Gita. But in actuality, Krishna, the Supreme Godhead, has senses, and it is stated that his senses are interchangeable. In other words, one sense can perform the function of any other. This is what it means to say that Krishna is absolute. Lacking senses, he could hardly be considered full in all opulences. In the 7th chapter, Krishna has explained that he impregnates the living entities into material nature. This is done by his looking upon material nature. And so in this instance, Krishna's hearing the devotees' words of love in offering foodstuffs is wholly identical with his eating and actually tasting. This point should be emphasized. Because of his absolute position, his hearing is wholly identical with his eating and tasting. Wow, okay, so I always thought that Krishna eats bhoga with his eyes. And here, Prabhupada says that he eats with his ear because we're offering the mantras, right? Oh, that's so sweet. Okay. Only the devotee who accepts Krishna as he describes himself without interpretation can understand that the Supreme Absolute Truth can eat food and enjoy it. Text 27. Text 27. Yat karoshi yadashnasi yajuhoshi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kauntaya tat kurushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. Purport. Thus, it is the duty of everyone to mold his life in such a way that he will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. This is such a powerful statement, extremely powerful statement. First of all, it's our duty. Second of all, to mold our life. We're not fatalists. We don't consider that life is the way it is and I can do nothing about it. No, you can mold your life the way our Prabhupada says, in the way that you will not forget Krishna in any circumstances. You can mold your life. Not necessarily you can choose other material to mold your life. You still have this prarabdha karma. Every time you look in the mirror, you will see this material body, but you can mold your life with the help of this material body. So no more, excuses. Everyone has to work for the maintenance of his body and soul together. And Krishna recommends herein that one should work for him. Everyone has to eat something to live. Therefore, he should accept the remnants of foodstuffs offered to Krishna. Any civilized man has to perform some religious ritualistic ceremonies. Therefore, Krishna recommends, do it for me, and this is called archana. Everyone has a tendency to give something in charity. Krishna says, give it to me. And this means that all surplus money accumulated should be utilized in furthering the Krishna consciousness movement. Nowadays, people are very much inclined to the meditational process, which is not practical. Not practical in this age. But if anyone practices meditating on Krishna 24 hours a day by chanting the Hare Krishna mantra round his beads, he is surely the greatest meditator and the greatest yogi, as substantiated by the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Text 28. Shubha Shubha Falairevam Mokshase Karma Bandhanaih Sannyasa Yoga Yuktatma Vimukto Mamupaishyati Upaishyasi. In this way you will be freed from bondage to work and its auspicious and inauspicious results. With your mind fixed on me in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and will come to me. Okay, remember some episodes ago I wanted to find out what is the Sanskrit word for auspicious and inauspicious? So it is Shubha and Ashubha. Oh, remember that two byproducts of devotional service? The first two, Klesha Agni and Shubha Da. All auspiciousness. Okay. Purport. One who acts in Krishna consciousness under superior direction is called Yukta. The technical term is Yukta Vairagya. This is further explained by Rupa Goswami as follows. Anasaktasya vishayan yathartham upayunjitaha nirbandha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 1.2.255. Rupa Goswami says that as long as we are in this material world, we have to act. We cannot cease acting. Therefore, if actions are performed and the fruits are given to Krishna, then that is called Yukta Vairagya. Actually, situated in renunciation, such activities clear the mirror of the mind, and as the actor gradually makes progress in spiritual realization, he becomes completely surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, at the end he becomes liberated, and this liberation is also specified. By this liberation he does not become one with the Brahma Jyoti, but rather enters into the planet of the Supreme Lord. It is clearly mentioned here. Mamupaishyasi, he comes to me, back home, back to Godhead. There are 5 different stages of liberation, and here it is specified that the devotee who has always lived his life here under the direction of the Supreme Lord, as stated, has evolved on the point where he can, after quitting this body, go back to Godhead and engage directly in the association of the Supreme Lord. Anyone who has no interest but to dedicate his life to the service of the Lord is actually a sannyasi. Such a person always thinks of himself as an eternal servant, dependent on the supreme will of the Lord. As such, whatever he does it for the benefit of the Lord. Whatever action he performs it as service to the Lord. He does not give serious attention to the fruitive activities or prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. For ordinary persons, it is obligatory to execute the prescribed duties mentioned in the Vedas. But although a pure devotee who is completely engaged in the service of the Lord may sometimes appear to go against the prescribed Vedic duties, actually it is not so. It is said, therefore, by Vaishnava authorities that even the most intelligent person cannot understand the plans and activities of a pure devotee. The exact words are Tandravakya Kriya Mudra Vigyehana Bhujaya, Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 23.39. A person who is thus planning how to serve the Lord is to be considered completely liberated at present, and in the future his going back home, back to Godhead is guaranteed. He is above all materialistic criticism, just as Krishna is above all criticism. Jai. Tomorrow we shall read the verse starting from Samoham Sarva Bhuteshu. Krishna is equally disposed towards everyone. Wow, and there is also Apichet Suduracharo. That's for tomorrow. Alright.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. The book links, previous episodes timeline, and biography of the author can be found on shravanamdiaries.com. The link is in the description, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna,